The classroom was quiet in that uncomfortable way that meant everyone was listening but pretending not to. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, striping the whiteboard and the rows of desks. Emily sat near the window, hands folded tightly in her lap, wishing she could disappear into the wood grain of her desk. She was new. New town, new school, new stairs. Mr. Kessler stood at the front of the room with his arms crossed, his mouth pulled into a thin, skeptical line. He was known for being strict, but today there was something sharper in his tone, something personal. "So," he said, tapping the attendance sheet, "Emily Carter. You've missed 3 assignments already." "I turned them in," Emily said quietly. "I gave them to you yesterday." A few students glanced up. Mr. Kessler snorted. "No, you didn't." "I did," she insisted, her voice trembling. "You were talking to another teacher, but I put them on your desk." He laughed, loud and dismissive. "Let me guess. The dog ate the backup copy." A ripple of laughter spread across the room. Emily's cheeks burned. "My dad taught me to always." "Oh, here we go, Mr. Kessler interrupted. "Your dad this, your dad that. Yesterday you said he was some kind of military hero." "He's a Navy SEAL," Emily said softly. The laughter stopped, for a second, then came back louder. Mr. Kessler shook his head. "Sure he is. And my brother's an astronaut." "He is," Emily said, eyes shining. "He's deployed right now." Mr. Kessler stepped closer to her desk. "Listen carefully. Making up stories for sympathy won't work here. And lying about something like that is disrespectful to people who actually serve." Emily swallowed hard. "I'm not lying." He leaned down, lowering his voice but not enough to avoid being heard. "Then prove it. Or sit there quietly and stop embarrassing yourself." Her hands trembled. She stared at the desk, fighting tears. The room felt too small, too loud, too cruel. That was when the classroom door opened. Everyone turned. The man who stepped inside didn't look like a teacher or a parent volunteering for career day. He was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing plain clothes that somehow still looked official. His posture was straight, his movements controlled. His eyes scanned the room in a single sweep, calm but alert. Mr. Kessler straightened. "Can I help you?" The man smiled politely. "I'm here for Emily Carter." Emily's head snapped up. "Yes, Mr. Kessler said, confused. The man's gaze shifted to Emily, softening instantly. "Hey, Em." Her breath caught. "Dad." The room went dead silent. Mr. Kessler frowned. "I'm sorry, who are you?" The man reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded ID, holding it up just long enough to be unmistakable. The seal. The insignia. The credentials that didn't need explanation. "Chief Petty Officer Carter," he said calmly. "United States Navy. Special Warfare." A few students' mouths fell open. Mr. Kessler's face drained of color. I didn't know." "No," Carter said evenly. "You didn't bother to know." He stepped farther into the room. "My daughter called me last night. She said she was having a hard time adjusting. I took emergency leave because I don't ignore calls like that." Emily blinked rapidly as tears spilled over. Her father crossed the room and rested a hand on her shoulder, grounding her instantly. Mr. Kessler cleared his throat. "There seems to be a misunderstanding. I was just trying to maintain academic honesty. By calling her a liar in front of her peers." Carter asked. The words weren't loud. They didn't need to be. Several students shifted uncomfortably. "You accused her of lying about her father's service," Carter continued. "Do you often challenge students like that?" Mr. Kessler stammered. She was behind on work and you assumed. The rest," Carter said. "That's on you." The principal appeared in the doorway, drawn by the silence and tension. "Is everything all right?" Carter turned. "That depends. Would you like to explain why my daughter was publicly humiliated for telling the truth?" The principal's expression hardened as he looked at Mr. Kessler. "Mr. Kessler, I didn't know," he repeated weakly. Carter looked back at him. "Ignorance isn't a defense. Especially when you're in a position of authority." Emily wiped her face with her sleeve, trying to steady herself. Her father noticed and gently squeezed her shoulder. "You okay?" he whispered. She nodded. "I am now." The principal asked the class to step into the hallway. Chairs scraped back as students filed out, whispering furiously. Phones were already out. When the room was empty, the air felt different, lighter, but charged. Mr. Kessler stood rigid, eyes fixed on the floor. "My daughter doesn't need special treatment," Carter said. "She needs fairness and respect." The principal nodded. "You're absolutely right." Later that day, Emily sat on a bench outside the office while adults spoke behind closed doors. She didn't hear everything, but she heard enough: formal complaints, recorded statements, disciplinary review. When it was over, her dad walked out with her. As they headed toward the parking lot, Emily finally spoke. "I'm sorry you had to come." He stopped and knelt in front of her. "Never apologize for telling the truth. And never let anyone make you feel small for who you are." She hugged him tightly, breathing in the familiar scent of home and safety. By the next week, Mr. Kessler was gone. No announcements. No explanations. Just an empty classroom and a substitute who spoke kindly and listened. Emily raised her hand for the first time without fear. And every time she did, she remembered the moment the door opened, when doubt collapsed under the weight of truth, and the man she was proud of walked in without saying a word too many.